When God is preparing to release something extraordinary into your life, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. It may not be loud. It may not come with announcements. But the spiritual realm always moves before the physical world catches up. And when God is about to give you something big, bigger than anything you've held before, He starts preparing you first. Not the blessing, you. You begin to sense a divine restlessness inside you, a stirring that doesn't match your current season. Your heart starts whispering, "There is more. I was created for more." This is not human ambition. This is the Spirit of God awakening a deeper capacity within you, stretching you so you can receive what He has already destined to place in your hands. When God is about to release something big into your life, one of the first and clearest signs you will feel is a deep spiritual restlessness. It is not anxiety, it is not impatience, and it is not the kind of discomfort that comes from comparing yourself to others. This restlessness is holy. It is divine. It is the stirring of the Spirit inside you, awakening something greater than the season you are currently standing in. It feels like your soul has outgrown where you are. It feels like there is something ahead of you calling your name, even though you cannot fully see it yet. You begin to sense that the life you are living right now does not match the size of the purpose inside you. Things that once felt fulfilling start to feel too small. Environments that once energized you now feel draining. Conversations you used to enjoy suddenly feel empty. You no longer fit comfortably in your old mindset, your old routines, or your old dreams. That is because God is enlarging your inner capacity. Before He places something bigger in your hands, He stretches the spirit before He stretches the life. This restlessness is not a sign of something being wrong. It is a sign that something new is being born. You feel a pull, a nudge, a quiet whisper saying, "More is coming." Even if your circumstances look ordinary, your spirit knows something is shifting. You may not be able to explain it to anybody else, because spiritual change is often invisible at first. But inside, you feel it deeply. You feel unsettled with things you used to tolerate. You feel drawn to growth. You feel the urge to rise higher, think deeper, and live with more intention. Your spirit is preparing for a divine upgrade. You might even notice that you're no longer satisfied with average conversations, average relationships, or average goals. Mediocrity becomes uncomfortable. You start craving depth, purpose, and clarity. You begin seeking more time alone, more time with God, and more silence to understand what is moving inside you. This inner shift is God's way of disconnecting you from the old version of yourself. He cannot elevate you while you're still holding onto a mindset designed for a smaller life. During this phase, you may feel like something is missing, even though nothing external has changed. That feeling is not emptiness. It is expectancy. Your heart is making room for something new. The Spirit of God is preparing the soil of your life for fresh seeds. You start dreaming differently. You start thinking differently. You start seeing possibilities that never entered your mind before. It is like your vision gets clearer without any physical change in your surroundings. This restlessness also makes you hungry, not for worldly things but for your true purpose. You want to grow. You want to improve. You want to understand what God is saying, what God is doing, and what God is preparing you for. You begin desiring spiritual alignment more than emotional comfort. That desire is evidence that God is drawing you closer, positioning you for something He has already ordained. Sometimes this inner stirring can make you feel disconnected from people who once felt close. You may feel like you're outgrowing certain relationships or environments. It's not pride, it's transition. Your spirit is moving ahead before your life catches up. God often advances your inner world before He advances your outer world. That way, when the blessing comes, you are spiritually mature enough to receive it, manage it, and protect it. You may not see open doors yet. You may not see breakthroughs yet. You may not see answers yet, but something in you refuses to settle. Something inside you knows, this is not my final place. That is the evidence that God is at work. He is preparing you for a season bigger than your imagination, a blessing larger than your current identity, and a purpose more powerful than your past. This divine restlessness is not a disruption. It is an announcement. It is God saying, get ready. I am about to lift you to another level. When God is preparing to give you something big, something significant, something that carries weight and destiny, the second sign you will always see is divine separation. God begins to remove what cannot go with you. This separation is rarely comfortable, rarely predictable, and rarely understood in the moment. It can feel painful, confusing, and even unfair. But spiritually, it is one of the clearest signs that God is elevating you to a higher level. He is not subtracting from your life. He is clearing your path for something greater. You may start to notice that certain relationships begin to shift. People who once played a big role in your life may suddenly grow distant. Conversations that once felt natural now feel forced. People you thought would always be there may begin to fade away. Sometimes they walk out on their own. Other times God gently pushes them out because He knows what you do not know. He sees their intentions, their limitations, and the hidden weights they carry. And when where you are going requires purity, focus, and strength, God will not allow the wrong people to follow you into the next chapter. This separation can also come through closed doors. Opportunities that you prayed for may suddenly disappear. Jobs you depended on may end. Plans you were excited about may collapse. Paths you thought were certain may unexpectedly shift. When this happens, your first reaction might be disappointment or confusion, but in the spiritual realm, every closed door has a purpose. God is not denying you. He is protecting you. He is safeguarding the blessing He is preparing to release. He refuses to let you build your future on foundations that are too weak to carry the weight of your destiny. Sometimes, the separation is not external at all. It is internal. God begins to remove old habits, old attitudes, and old mindsets that cannot survive the level you are about to enter. You may find that you can no longer enjoy the things you once indulged in. Your spirit becomes sensitive to things that never bothered you before. You start feeling convicted over behaviors you used to ignore. This is God refining your character, purifying your motives, and breaking chains that would restrict your future. He is molding you into a version of yourself that is capable of receiving what He is about to give. Divine separation can also feel like isolation. You may find yourself spending more time alone, not because you want to, but because God is pulling you away from noise, distractions, and unhealthy attachments. He does this so He can speak to you clearly. In isolation, revelations come, clarity comes, strength comes. God begins to show you who you are, what He is calling you to do, and who you are becoming. This solitude is not punishment. It is preparation. He isolates you to elevate you. There are moments when the separation feels like heartbreak. People leave, friendships end, connections break, and you might wonder, why now? Why this? Why them? But always remember, God removes for a reason. If they were meant for your destiny, they would still be standing beside you. If they were meant to carry the weight of your next level, they would not have fallen away. Every person who exits your life during this season is part of God's pruning, and pruning is a sign that fruit is coming. God is a God of order. Before He brings increase, He brings cleansing. Before He releases promotion, He removes hindrance. Before He opens the door to something big, He shuts the door to anything small. It may hurt now, but later you will understand that everything and everyone that left was necessary for your growth. You cannot bring old energy into a new season. You cannot elevate while holding on to the familiar. You cannot step into God's abundance while carrying relationships, habits, mindsets, or environments that drain you. So when you begin to see things, people, and situations fall away, don't panic. Don't fight to keep what God is removing. Don't cling to what He is cutting off. Separation is a sign, a divine signal that something big, something beautiful, and something heaven sent is on its way. When God is preparing you for something big, one of the most intense and undeniable signs you will experience is pressure. Not ordinary pressure, but a spiritual stretching that touches every area of your life. This pressure feels heavy, uncomfortable, and sometimes overwhelming. Yet, it is not sent to break you. It is sent to build you. It is God enlarging your capacity to carry what He is about to place into your hands. Blessings come with weight, and before God gives you something big, He strengthens the vessel that will hold it. You begin to notice that situations arise that challenge you in ways they never have before. Problems seem bigger, responsibilities feel heavier, and decisions become more demanding. You might find yourself pushed into situations that require more faith, more discipline, and more maturity than you've ever displayed. This is because the next level God is preparing you for cannot be accessed with your current level of strength. Pressure becomes the divine tool that grows what comfort could never develop. Sometimes this stretching happens internally. Your emotions might feel more sensitive. Your thoughts may be challenged. Your patience tested. You find yourself confronting fears you have avoided for years. You start dealing with wounds you thought were healed, insecurities you buried long ago, and weaknesses you didn't know you still had. It may feel like life is squeezing you from every direction, but in reality it is God pushing things out of you that would sabotage the blessing that is coming. Pressure exposes what is weak so God can strengthen it. It reveals what is broken so God can heal it. It brings forward what is hidden so God can transform it. Every uncomfortable moment is God shaping you. When He is preparing you for something greater, He cannot allow you to stay small on the inside. You must grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. The blessing requires a stronger, wiser, more disciplined version of you, and pressure produces that version. This stretching also happens in your environment. Suddenly, you may feel like you have more responsibilities, more assignments, and more challenges than you can handle. You might feel like you're being asked to step into roles you're not fully prepared for. You may feel like everything is increasing at once: expectations, workload demands, and even spiritual attacks. But if you look deeper, you will realize that this is not chaos, it is calibration. God is enlarging your capacity, creating strength in you where you once lacked it, developing skills you will need for the next level. Pressure also teaches you reliance. In your weakest moments, you learn to lean on God like never before. You stop depending on your own understanding, your own strength, or your own strategies. Pressure forces you into a place of surrender. It brings you to your knees, not to defeat you, but to remind you that the coming blessing will not be achieved by your power alone. You learn to trust God's timing, God's methods, and God's process. Through pressure, your faith becomes more mature, your prayer life more intense, your worship more authentic. And then there are the moments where you feel like you're being stretched beyond your limits. You may question why things are becoming so difficult, why challenges keep increasing, why you can't catch a break. But what feels like breaking is actually shaping. What feels like resistance is actually refinement. God knows how much you can bear, and He knows exactly how much pressure is needed to prepare you for what is coming. Nothing strong is formed without pressure. Diamonds are created under intense heat and weight. Gold is refined in fire. Strong muscles are built through resistance. Likewise, strong destinies are shaped through spiritual pressure. If God left you comfortable, you would remain unprepared. If He left everything easy, you would enter the next level unfit to steward the blessing. This pressure is not punishment. It is preparation. It is God saying, I am getting you ready. The struggle, the stretching, the discomfort, the resistance. All of it is building the capacity you will need to carry the big things He is about to release into your life. When God is preparing to bless you with something big, one of the most beautiful and undeniable signs you'll begin to notice is unusual favor. This is not ordinary luck, not random chance, not coincidence. This is divine alignment. It is heaven shifting things in your direction. It is God touching the hearts of people, opening doors, and moving circumstances to position you exactly where you need to be. You begin experiencing opportunities you didn't search for, blessings you didn't earn, and breakthroughs you didn't force. Favor becomes a shield around you and a pathway beneath you. This kind of favor shows up in subtle ways at first. You may notice small moments where things work out smoother than expected. Someone gives you help you didn't ask for. A situation resolves itself unexpectedly. A door you thought was closed suddenly swings open. These small signs are the whispers of heaven. God letting you know that you are stepping into a season where His hand is guiding your steps. Then, the favor intensifies. You start finding yourself in the right place at the right time. People begin to recommend you, support you, or speak highly of you without knowing why they feel drawn to do so. Your name begins to enter rooms your feet haven't stepped into yet. Opportunities begin to line up with precision, as if someone behind the scenes is arranging everything perfectly. And that someone is God. Unusual favor means God is going before you. It means He is preparing the environment for the blessing He is about to release. He aligns hearts, resources, opportunities, and timing so that when the blessing comes, nothing can resist it. When it is time for God to elevate you, He doesn't just lift you. He prepares the entire atmosphere to receive you. This favor also shows up through protection. Things that were meant to harm you suddenly lose their power. Plans that were designed to bring you down mysteriously fall apart. People who were against you can't understand why they can't stop you. God blocks attacks you never even knew about, shields you from traps you didn't see, and covers you from dangers that never reached you. Favor doesn't just open doors, it closes the wrong ones. You may also notice that people begin to treat you differently, even without knowing anything about your situation. Some will feel compelled to help you. Some will speak blessings over you. Some will give you opportunities that normally wouldn't be available to you. You may even find that someone offers you resources, support, wisdom, or connections at the exact moment you need them. These are not random acts of kindness. They are divine nudges. God moves people like chess pieces when He is arranging a victory for you. Unusual favor is not always loud. Sometimes it is as simple as being chosen when others are overlooked. Sometimes it is being protected when others fall. Sometimes it is receiving clarity when others are confused. Favor is the evidence that heaven is working on your behalf, even when you cannot see the full picture. There will be moments in this season where you feel unqualified or even unprepared for the opportunities coming your way. But that is how divine favor operates. God promotes you beyond human logic. Favor opens doors your skill alone couldn't open. Favor brings provision your planning couldn't produce. Favor places you in positions your RA doesn't justify. When God decides it's your time, nothing and no one can stop it. You may even encounter situations where things that were once difficult suddenly become easy. What took others years to accomplish might come to you in months. What others struggled to access might reach you with little effort. It's not because you are better. It's because God's grace is operating at a higher level in your life. Unusual favor is God's gentle announcement. I am with you. I am guiding you. I am preparing the way. It is His way of showing you that the blessing He is bringing is not only big, but also predestined, and because He has ordained it, everything around you begins to cooperate with His plan. This kind of favor is the sign that your season is shifting. It is the spiritual evidence that something extraordinary is on its way. When God surrounds you with favor, it is because He is about to place something in your hands that no one else can take away. When God is preparing to release something big into your life, one of the final and most reassuring signs you will feel is a deep, unshakable peace rising within your spirit. This is not the kind of peace that comes from having everything figured out. It is not the peace that comes from comfort, stability, or predictable circumstances. This peace is divine. It comes from a place far beyond human understanding. It is God's whisper to your soul that everything is aligning, even when nothing around you seems to make sense. It is heaven telling you, "Be still, I am working." This peace often arrives in moments where logic says you should be stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed. Perhaps the situation around you is uncertain. Perhaps the path ahead is unclear. Perhaps circumstances seem delayed or difficult. And yet, inside, you feel calm, calmer than you've ever felt before. You feel grounded, centered, and steady in a way that surprises even you. This is because the peace you feel is not coming from your mind. It is coming from your spirit. And your spirit knows what your eyes cannot see. God is close, and something big is about to manifest. You may notice that your fear begins to decrease. Thoughts that once troubled you lose their power. Worries that used to consume you no longer affect you the same way. You stop overthinking, stop doubting, and stop questioning what God is able to do. Instead of fear, a quiet confidence takes over. Instead of anxiety, a gentle assurance fills you. This shift is not accidental. It is God strengthening your inner world for the blessing that is coming. This peace also brings clarity. Confusion that clouded your mind begins to fade. You start seeing things more clearly, not necessarily with your physical eyes, but with spiritual understanding. You begin discerning what is for you and what is not. You feel guided, protected, and supported. Decisions that once felt heavy begin to feel simple. Your spirit begins to lead you more than your emotions do. And as you follow that peace, you move closer to the place where God's blessing is waiting. Another sign of this divine peace is the silence of your battles. Situations that once drained you start losing their intensity. Conflicts begin to dissolve. People who brought chaos drift away. Doors that were difficult suddenly open smoother. It is as if God Himself is calming the storm around you, not by changing everything at once, but by changing you first. When the peace of God takes over your heart, external chaos can no longer control you. You stop reacting to pressure, and you start responding with faith. You may also find that your desire to control outcomes begins to fade. You stop forcing things. You stop chasing what isn't meant for you. You stop trying to make everything happen in your own strength. Instead, you learn to trust the flow of God's timing. You become comfortable with waiting because the peace inside you tells you that the waiting is not empty. It is sacred preparation. This peace brings maturity. It teaches you to stay calm when others panic, to stand firm when others shake, and to move with confidence when others hesitate. You begin to walk with a sense of spiritual authority, knowing that God is guiding every step you take. This inner peace is the mark of someone who has been touched by God's hand. It is the evidence that the blessing is near. Sometimes, this peace comes after a long season of struggle. Sometimes it comes after tears, after confusion, after spiritual battles. But when it arrives like a quiet sunrise, slowly, gently, but undeniably. It fills the areas of your heart that were once broken. It strengthens the parts of you that were once weak. It heals the wounds that were once painful. God gives you peace before He gives you the blessing, so that when the blessing comes, you can carry it with strength, wisdom, and gratitude. This peace is not just a feeling. It is preparation. It is God calming your spirit for the elevation ahead. It is God aligning your heart with His timing. It is God giving you the emotional and spiritual stability to receive something much bigger than anything you have experienced before. And when that kind of peace settles in your spirit, you can be certain God is near, and something extraordinary is on its way into your life. When God is preparing to give you something big, He does not do it in silence. He prepares you inwardly long before the blessing appears outwardly. The restlessness you feel is not confusion, it is a spiritual awakening. The separation you experience is not loss, it is divine protection. The pressure you endure is not punishment, it is preparation. The favor that surrounds you is not coincidence, it is heaven's endorsement. And the peace rising inside you is not ordinary, it is God confirming that your breakthrough is near. Every sign is intentional, every shift is purposeful. God is aligning your heart, your path, and your environment for a blessing that carries weight, responsibility, and destiny. What you're sensing is real. What you're feeling is divine. What you're walking through is preparation for a season far greater than anything you've ever imagined. Stand firm. Stay open. Keep your spirit sensitive. You are not waiting in vain. God is shaping you, positioning you, and lifting you into the very promise He has prepared. Something big is on its way, and when it arrives, you will understand why the process had to be this way. Your season is changing. Your blessing is coming, and nothing can stop what God has ordained for your life.